Hello and welcome to part 2 of our 3-part series. Because if we go past number 1, then we're counting wrong. We are doing our top games of the 2000s, which is 2000 through 2009. Because we already did the 2010s, which was 2010 through 2019. So we left off. It's in the last part we left off with. My number 11 is Pokemon XD Gale of Darkness. Alright, and now in this part.
Okay, it's my turn.
Jack.
Yeah, it was your turn.
My number 10 is Jet Set Radio. Hey, we LP'd that game. I would normally say go watch that LP, but that LP's not very good. I want to redo that one day. But, yeah. I love Jet Set Radio. This is not a surprise.
What?
I had a hard time deciding between this game and Future, and I love both of them, but I've put a lot more time into this one, and yeah, I don't know. I love them both kind of equally. Like they both have their like ups and downs, but like I just put more time into this one. That's really the end of the story.
The real reason is because Future you plays yo-yo.
God. But yeah, this is my... Yeah, no, this is my favorite Dreamcast game. I can't really think of any other Dreamcast games that I like more than this one. But it's like... It's just an incredibly fun, stylized 3D platformer, I guess you could call it. / like extreme sports type game where you roller skate everywhere and spray graffiti and F the cops.
F the cops.
But this game definitely has like a vibe that is wholly unique to itself that I absolutely love. It's an incredibly like stylized art style. I don't know how else I would really say that. Like very jagged, like thick outlines. A game that actually has aged remarkably well graphically because of like the cell shading. And incredible soundtrack by Mr. Hideki Naganuma, Twitter meme lord, and others as well. Boy, I can't really. I can't think of much else to say. I mean, this game has a story, but it's just kind of there. I mean, it's fine.
You fight fucking tanks.
Yeah, and helicopters, among other things. Yeah, it's a fun game, and I love it. It like, you know, it hasn't aged perfectly. The controls are a little weird, but like, I mean, considering that this game is 20 years old. Honestly, it's aged a lot better than a lot of other games that came out during its time. So, yeah, I don't know. That's pretty much it.
This is your Sega guru saying, get the re-release ones because it actually has all the music.
It has all the music, and it also has 2 sticks, so it has full camera control.
Yeah.
My number 10 is actually also a Dreamcast game. It's kind of funny. My number 10 is actually... It was ever so close to being on my top RPGs list. Like, I swear, that was like 10.5. Like, that's how close it was. And it is Grandia 2.
Oh
shit.
Go watch that LP.
Wait.
You can't. Yeah.
When you said Dreamcast, I should have guessed that's what it was.
So yeah, Grandia 2 is an RPG that came out back on the Dreamcast by Game Arts and published by Ubisoft before Ubisoft was a shit company. This game is just awesome. Like, the battle system is pretty unique among RPGs that I've played, even for its time. You have a magic and a special point system, and you actually have like pretty full customizability with that. Like, I think it actually kind of almost rivals like Final Fantasy VII's type of like creativity with what you can do with your characters, because you give like the different characters like these eggs for their magic, but the magic, you can like unlock all the spells and stuff that are tied to it, and there's like several pages of them. In whatever order that you want, you get points for your skills and points for your magic after you do fights. Fights are pretty standard turn-based RPGs, although I'll get into the battle system in a second. And you basically customize them by spending the points however you want. Same with skills. You upgrade them at whichever way you want to do it. You also can get stat bonuses with like these books. Same deal, you can upgrade those however you want. It's just so customizable. The characters are cool. The story's pretty good. I mean, it's not like perfect, but because it's like kind of simple, but at the same time, it does a really good job. The voice acting is pretty good where it happens because it doesn't cover the whole game. I really, really like the main character. He's a snarky, cynical asshole that just kind of trying to do his job, but then he kind of warms up and softens up over the course of the game. And the music is amazing. Like, even the regular battle theme, which is my choice of track that should be playing in the background as I'm talking, is just really good. But anyway, yeah, the battle system's like really unique because like it has like a turn-based aspect to it, but like you can basically, there's like a gauge that moves and you can cancel other enemies' attacks by timing your attacks right. You can push them back. There is like an aspect of placement on the field. It's really cool though. It's not a hard game, but it is so fun to like tinker with the battle system and master it. And the bosses are actually really good. So like, yeah, just excellent RPG. If you haven't played it, I definitely recommend it. It's really good. And I am going to be doing an LP. It's going to happen. Just
You're gonna do a redux.
A redux for an LP I never finished and is no longer on the channel.
But I know it's there. I know it
It's
happened.
in my mind.
It's in our hearts.
In my heart of hearts, Grandia 2 happens.
Anyway, that's my number 10. It's Grandia 2. It definitely deserves to be pretty high up on my list because I love this game.
Alright, number 10 is going to start going into my ye olden PS2 games. Number 10 is the original Devil May Cry, which, in my opinion, is probably the most jank of all of them, because it has a lot of systems that haven't been refined yet. But I like it. I know some people kind of think that the original Devil May Cry is a bit iffy, and then I point to Devil May Cry 2, and they say, point taken. But Devil May Cry obviously didn't have a lot of the features that the future games did. There was no style system. Switching weapons wasn't as quick as it is in 3, so you do have to go in the menu, pick your FMV of choice is what I'm calling it, because you always get like an FMV of a weapon. I just like, because Devil May Cry 5 heavily references 1, I was kind of happy about that. It was probably my favorite thing about 5. 1 is kind of like, 1 is supposed to be after 3, which is actually when I found out that 3 was a prequel, because I'm a fucking dipshit. So like, you already got the thing with Virgil, he's already kind of fucked, you know, he's being a bad boy. But this is also before the whole thing with like fuck, what was his name? Guy before. Shit, I'm drawing a blank. But that's not important. But like, you kind of like go around like Mundus's like castle. You figure out some shit about things that would happen in the future games, and you see Dante's permanent partner, you know, in Trish, because that's kind of where she got her debut. The bosses are actually like, I think they're kind of basic. They're not too difficult. They're definitely not as difficult as they could be in like 3, but I still like them because, again, this is all nostalgia. A lot of the enemies are nostalgia factor, which is why in 5 I was a little pissed off that they promoted a mini boss over poor old Phantom. I never forget. But I really like the music. The music is really good. I mean, I don't think I played a Devil May Cry game that had bad music, but you know, combat system's not as good, but the combat system is still fun, so I wouldn't consider that necessarily a negative. And you know, still same old Dante. He's a goofball. And yeah, Devil May Cry is a good game, even if it's a little old.
I mean, all the games on this list are a little old. Got him.
I was gonna say they're all from 2010 to 2009, so they're all a little old.
Go ahead, Landon.
My number 10 is Mario Kart 8 Double Dash. My number 10 is Mario Kart Double Dash.
You said Mario Kart 8 Double Dash.
I did.
Oh, Landon.
Rip.
What the fuck? No Landon wishes.
I do it. I mean,
Cheater,
honestly,
pumpkin eater.
I wish they would fucking put like the double dash mechanic back into a Mario Kart game, and then let me play online with people. Yeah, that's that.
As long as both
that's
of them
standard.
have to, both racers have to fit in the Scooty Puff Jr.
Fuck it, let's do it. Anyway, Mario Kart Double Dash for the Nintendo GameCube. You might have noticed a slight pattern. The last game was a Nintendo GameCube game. There was a Nintendo GameCube before. There's another one.
GameCube after.
There will definitely be at least one more Nintendo GameCube game at some point in the list. Anyway, Double Dash is fun. Yes, DS has retro tracks, but I adore Double Dash. I adore the co-op, that you can do, where someone can drive and another person can toss shit from their butt. I like that. I like the course selection of this game. It has a solid selection of 16 courses, some of which we have not gone back and visited in later games, which is unfortunate. It is, I don't know, it's just overall a pleasant video game to play. Yes, the controls are not as refined as some of the future releases have been, but, you know, I like Double Dash. I also like the music. And I like Double Dash.
All right.
Someone please do your number 9, so I can move on.
I'm not.
Okay.
I'm not going to spoil it, but I think I have an idea of the next GameCube game you're thinking of.
Uh-oh.
Oh. My number 9 is also a GameCube game.
Oh,
That-
shit.
that-
Oh, shit.
That was a lie. It's not a GameCube game. It's a
Oh, shit.
it's a DS game, but is
Oh,
a game
shit.
that was on Landon's list already. It's Ace Attorney Trials and Tribulations. Oh shit.
Oh, shit.
Oh shit.
To no one's surprise, there's
oh,
a Phoenix Wright games on Jack's list.
Wow, I know, right?
Wow.
Yeah, Trials and Tribulations is, like, you know, kind of a popular opinion, but it's my favorite game in the series. The first one is also really, really good. Was also a contender for this list, but honestly, I just like this one more, mostly because I like the overarching story between some of the cases. I like how in 2 of the cases you play as Mia, because they take place in the past, you know, before she died. And yeah, no, I just love the way that, like, the characters are, like, integrated into the cases, and, like, how the story presents itself. I love the writing. The characters are fantastic just on their own, as they always are.
Almost always.
Almost always.
Almost always. Don't fucking speak for all the... And there's...
Old Bag. Actually, is Old Bag... I don't think Old Bag is in this game, now that I think about it.
Was it? I thought she was...
Or she might have been. I don't remember. I would need to look again. But, anyway.
I think she is.
Yeah, it's, I don't know. It's just really fun. It's got great music and all those other things that I said. It's...
Words.
Yeah. that was pretty much the last thing I wanted to say, and that's that's about it.
My number 9 is Spyro Year of the Dragon. It was released right near the tail end of the year 2000 because they wanted it to be in time for the Year of the Dragon. Oh, wow. Third Spyro game of the Spyro PS1 trilogy. My favorite one personally, so just throwing that out there. Really good music. The addition of the different friends that you can play as, like Sheila, Bentley, Sergeant Bird, Agent 9, they're all pretty fun to play as. I really like the different worlds that you can go into in this game. The hub worlds aren't as good as the second games, but at the same time, like, the regular levels that you go to are way better. They're just way more memorable in my opinion. They're also just better designed because they're all designed to backtrack to the beginning, so it's a lot easier to roam around and grab everything if you've missed anything. It's really solid. It's basically just the Spyro gameplay formula just tweaked as far as they could possibly go with it. Graphics for its time were, pretty good. It runs really nice. It's a PS1 game doing its goddamn best, and Insomniac's good at doing that. I do have to say that this game suffers from its original launch because of a rushed release, so there's some missing tracks, and it's really awkward, but you can the greatest hits version fixes all that, so there's literally nothing I can say about it. It's just really good. Just a lot of fun levels. It's Spyro. I mean, in a year from this video's release, I should be getting to that in the Reignited Let's Play, so I'm just going to plug that now and say go watch that when it comes out. Spyro.
Ooh,
Justin,
all
that's
right.
your cue.
That's my pew?
That's
pew,
your
pew,
that's your
pew,
cue.
pew.
That's your cue.
So number 9
Number 9, go.
Back-to-back Capcom games. Number 9 is Onimusha. By the way, I forgot to mention this, but both this and Devil May Cry are, once again, part of the first PS2 games I ever owned. So Onimusha was a different take on, Capcom's usual game formula. I don't know if I could technically consider it horror, because it's not really scary. It's creepy, but it's not really scary. It's a samurai game, so there's no pew-pews. Well, technically there's pew-pews. There's only a musket, but it's actually fairly powerful, so maybe there's pew-pews. Anyway, it's mostly about sword combat. All the enemies have melee weapons. You have a melee weapon. Instead of various guns, you get various sword and magic types, because, there's magic in this game. Woo! It's like an anime. So you play as Samanosuke. He's your main character. He's got a little ninja friend named Kaede, but you don't really use her that much. So you're supposed to fight all these demons because they kidnapped someone named Princess Yuki, and Samanosuke can't have that because that's bullshit. So he's gonna go in there, murder all the demons, and hopefully get her out alive. The gameplay involves mostly just cutting enemies apart while also solving the occasional puzzle, because it wouldn't be a Capcom game without at least a few puzzles. Some of them are a little different from what you probably see in a Resident Evil game, probably because of the different time period. But they're kind of similar. Some of them involve, horribly dying if you fuck up, which I don't think too many Resident Evil games kill you if you fuck up the puzzle. So there's that. And there's at least a few sections where, like I said, you have to play as Kaede, and Kaede's not that great because she's not as strong as Samanosuke, and she doesn't have all of his weapons, so you're kind of playing it as a little bit of a disadvantage. But other than that, there's a few things you could do before you beat the main story. There is actually a sort of survival mode, where you basically have to endure waves upon waves of enemies just to get some super ultra prize that, honestly, it's like Final Fantasy. If you can beat those kind of levels, you probably aren't gonna have any trouble with the final boss. So it's more just bragging rights and just to look cool, I guess. Beyond that, unlike Devil May Cry, I don't really think there's a problem with the first game. It's not really that different from 2. So there's not really as much jank as Devil May Cry was. So all in all, I actually do think it's a better game than Devil May Cry, at least for what it is. And it's a really good series. So yeah.
To clarify, Wendy Oldbag is in Trials and Tribulations. She is specifically in the credit sequence where, NPCs get interviewed.
And she complains that she wasn't in the game enough.
Yep.
So, yeah.
Wanted to make sure that that's out there before we get canceled on Twitter or whatever.
Well, it's appropriate. We're still talking about a Capcom game, so.
Anyway,
yeah.
Go ahead, Landon.
Anyway, hey, guess what's not Capcom made? That's right, Tetris DS for the Nintendo DS. My number 9.
Hell yeah.
Bam. Gotcha. Ha.
It's
Gaheen. I don't know. Anyway, Tetris DS is Tetris for the DS. Do I have to explain Tetris?
No.
Yes.
Okay, thank God. I guess I can specifically explain about Tetris DS. It has game modes other than normal Tetris that exist. That's fine. But it also has normal Tetris, and when you play normal Tetris, it has NES titles appear on the top screen while you play through Tetris on the bottom screen. And they're all themed, and like the first 10 are Mario ones, and then there's other ones, and I'm sure Cloud can attest to this. I would spend literally hours playing one game of Tetris. Like, back, before, like, the 3DS came out. So yeah, back in the day. I would just sit there, play a single game of Tetris, and on Tetris DS. And, I'd have a score in the millions, just because I was, that's all I would do for that night. I don't know, it's Tetris. It is a very themed version of Tetris, and it is very, very fun.
My number 8 is... Hey. It's a game we're LPing right now. It's Uncharted 2.
Oh,
Whoa.
shit.
Oh, shit.
Go watch the LP.
Go watch the LP. Uncharted 2 is...
Actually, it should be finished by the time this goes up.
Yeah, it would be, actually. Uncharted 2 is a game that came out way at the ass end of the 2000s in October of 2009.
Just squeaking in there.
Yep. And yeah, it's an amazing game. I believe I named this my game of the year for that year. I want to say that I did. I don't remember. But yeah, Uncharted 2, it's a fantastic game that I love. It's an incredibly fun and ridiculous action movie, because that's basically what the series is. It's a playable action movie where you do tons of absurd parkour and cheat death 30 times every hour. It has I don't know. I mean, it's really fun. It's just
go watch the LP.
Go watch the LP. I don't know. Fucking yeah, I love this series, and it's really fun. Go watch the LP. That's all I have to say.
My number 8 is Ape Escape 3. So yeah, this is the second 3D platformer in a row on my list, and I have to say it was really tough picking between Ape Escape 2 and Ape Escape 3. They're both about equally good for similar reasons, but I went with 3 because it is not only more polished, but there's just a lot more cool stuff that this game has, and the little things that Ape Escape 2 has over this game are not enough to overcome how great this one is. There's 450 monkeys you can catch in this game. Yes, 450. And a lot of them have little unique aspects to them, because so the Ape Escape series, you have to go against this monkey named Spectre. He's super smart, and he is trying to take over the world in some way every single time. And this time he's doing it by trying to brainwash people through TV shows that he hosts with his monkeys. And so all of the levels are different set pieces for TV shows that they're using for their TV programs. And it is so awesome and creative. I love it. You play as either a girl or boy, Kei and Yumi. They have different transformations that they can do on top of the typical Ape Escape gadgets. I'm not going to go into detail about Ape Escape. If you've played it, you've played it. If you haven't, please play it. It is good. But basically, in order to catch the monkeys in assistance with these gadgets, you also have transformations. Like, you can turn into a knight, a cowboy, a, like, somewhat Kamen Rider-esque superhero sort of thing. It's like, it's so cool. Like, I don't know how to explain it. It's just cool. The platforming through the different levels is really nice. The music is great. It's really poppy and colorful, and I think it's still one of the best looking PS2 games to ever exist. It does help that it came out in, like, I want to say it was like 2006. Like, it took quite a few years for this game to come out after Ape Escape 2. No Ape Escape 4 though. That makes me sad. And one more thing about Ape Escape 3 that's really cool is, just like all the other Ape Escape games, there's like really nice mini games that you can unlock. And one of them, I shit you not, is a bite-sized Metal Gear Solid, but everything's a monkey. It is so cool.
Well, that's just perfect.
It is so cool. Oh my god. But yeah, no, Ape Escape 3 is just a damn good time. It's one of my favorite, it's one of my favorite 3D platformers ever made, and it's definitely really good.
My number 8 is Ratchet and Clank going Commando, because I honestly like this one more than Up Your Arsenal.
Ooh, rare opinion.
Yeah. So this was definitely a much needed improvement over the first one, because the first one, old things are old. Things are, I mean, well, you didn't really have that opinion when you played the first one because there was no sequel, so I guess that was okay. But yeah, it's hard to go back to the original after playing the second one. So they actually introduced the concept of upgrading weapons, which they pretty much carried over in every other game after that. I'm not complaining about that, but holy fuck, the grinding really increased. So, it's still Ratchet and Clank affair. Some of the guns are a little bit wackier in the first one because they could, like, experiment a bit more now that they were actually pumping out sequels. I think there's, like, some weird, like, aerial dogfight missions in that game, because I think I do remember flying around and having to shoot things.
Yeah.
And getting killed constantly. But yeah, I guess it's like, I mean, it's not new to the series. The first one had a system like that, except it was in like one level. You still do the standard affair. You pick up items that tell you why you should go to some other planet that seems to have caught your interest all of a sudden. Because as before, the planets are all levels. I actually kind of like that concept that every world is a new level. But yeah, Ratchet's voice actor was changed in this one, which I think was for the better, because I think he worked better for him, and he just overall sounds better. And they made Ratchet less of an asshole, so I also appreciate that. I can't remember if it's this one or the other one that Clank gets a few new upgrades, but like, I guess it's not too different from the original. But anyway, I can't really explain in detail why I think, like, because otherwise I'm just going to go on and on. But I will say that I really do like this game. There's a few there's one character arc that's never explained, because she just kind of vanishes off the face of the planet after this game. So it's kind of like, what? But other than that, I think this is a good game. I like the characters in it, and I like the fact that, they improved Ratchet's personality. He's not a dickhead anymore. So yeah.
My number, was it 8? Is that what we're on?
Yes.
Yeah, 8. Yes. My number 8 is Resident Evil 4. 5. This was originally a GameCube game, but I generally prefer the Wii edition because it's better. So there's that. Yeah, Resident Evil 4 is one of the best Resident Evil games to come out. It is super campy, but in a fun way. It is pretty challenging in parts, and it just has a very good atmosphere, solid music. Obviously, it has Leon Scott Kennedy, which is always a plus for a Resident Evil game. And I just like it. I enjoy... Well, I wouldn't say necessarily enjoy, but I like having the inventory management that comes up in it. And I like the dynamic difficulty system that the game has implemented, to where if you do well, the game is harder, and if you don't do as well, the game goes a little bit easier on you. So it makes it easy for first-time players to be able to get through it, but then gives enough challenge to people who want to go through and replay the game to have a decent time without having to select a different difficulty mode. The story is Resident Evil-esque, and we'll leave it at that. Overall, solid title. Resident Evil 4.
Jack,
Me.
your turn.
You.
Is it?
Number 7.
Is it really?
Go.
We can skip you.
Okay. My number 7 is Paper Mario: The Thousand-Year Door.
Wow.
Wow, yeah, I know. I've only talked about this game on 2 of our past 3 lists.
Then you're not trying hard
Well, then
enough.
you can
I
basically just
know.
summarize it so we can move on.
Paper Mario, good. Characters, good. Levels, good. Writing, good. Battle system, good. Music, good. That's all. Move on, please.
Okay.
I'm gonna LP it one day. And I'll talk more about it then. But this is the legitimately the third time in the past few months that I've put this on one of my lists, and I'm just like, I'm out of things to say about it.
Yeah.
It's a great game, and I love it, and that's pretty much it.
My number 7 is Ratchet and Clank. Up your arsenal. This is my favorite Ratchet game, and also, it is the third 3D platformer in a row on my list. But whatever. I love this game because it not only has the best writing out of all the 4 Ratchet games on the PS2, in my opinion. Well, technically there's 5, because Size Matters was ported over, but whatever. It has some of the best weapons. Like, Going Commando can kind of rival it in that department, but I just really love how they pushed the limit on, like, weapons and upgrades and all this other cool stuff, and still, like, balanced it with really cool platforming pieces. The levels, as a result, are really nice to explore. The story is wacky, hilarious, and I love it. It is so fucking funny. And the main villain, Dr. Nefarious, is definitely my favorite villain of Ratchet. He's just so campy. He's great. And, like, I don't really get to talk about Ratchet a lot, because, like, I haven't really had too many lists where he was applicable to be on the list, but it's just really good. I love, like, the upgrade system in this game, the HP, like, the fact that, like, it just made everything about this game, it just feels like Ratchet is stronger than he was in the previous game. That's all I could really ask for in a sequential kind of series like this, where, like, you have the same character moving through, and just because it feels kind of weird, like, when a character kind of, like, resets, but Ratchet's clearly been, like, through some shit. I love the battle arena of this game. I can't remember the name of it off the top of my head, but all of the different, like, challenges you can do for it, I spent so much time on it. The Captain Quark's mini game levels, those are really cool too. Like, it's just I'm gonna gush a lot about this game if I don't give the mic over to Justin, so I'm just gonna say that Ratchet and Clank Up Your Arsenal is one of my favorite PS2 games, and if it weren't for the stiff competition it had, it would probably be, like, top 3. But yeah, definitely up there. Ratchet and Clank Up Your Arsenal.
My number 7 is Dead Space. So we're going into the spooky territory now.
boy.
Of the space variety, so it's extra spooky. So I really like Dead Space because of its unique setting, and that's exactly why I think Dead Space 3 is a piece of shit. Dead Space is set in space. So, and I actually do think space is one of the best places for horror because it's like, you know, it's empty, it's a giant void. It's actually kind of like really lonely to be out in space, and they actually incorporate the fact that there's no sound in space. Oh, Star Wars lied to me. So yeah, there's a lot of like interaction with space on top of many of the things that like to stick their fucking blades through your face. So Dead Space is more on the side of cosmic horror as opposed to anything else. Horrible eldritch abominations that come out of space. We don't know where they came from. We don't know how the fuck they exist. We just know they're fucking awful to look at. Because it features the necromorphs, which are technically, by game standards, killable only once you rip them apart. But by game lore, they're not actually dead. You just kind of shoot them until they stop moving. But they're technically still alive. You can't really put down a necromorph. It just doesn't work that way. But obviously they do that for the game because otherwise the game would be very unplayable. So this is kind of going to start a trend of some games that I think where the original is actually much better than the two sequels, either because I just like the mechanics more, or because they butcher it, like 3. But yeah, I like Isaac in this game. He doesn't talk like he does in 2. I don't think that's a problem. I'm kind of nostalgic for his engineering outfit, so I tend to swap that a lot in the second one. But it definitely has the more like basic approach to combat as opposed to like the other two, where like the stomp is more like it's faster and like your melee attacks come out a lot quicker, whereas in this game you're kind of sluggish. But I don't think that's a bad thing. I think the world building is pretty cool. The Ishimura, which is the ship that you're on, is creepy in its own way. It's all like, I don't know if it's really run down, but it definitely looks kind of old. And it's one of those gritty kind of brownish games, but I think the space aesthetic kind of saves it. And yeah, if you go into space, space rules apply. There's no sound. You'll start suffocating if you don't get air after a while. And to my surprise, because I'm an idiot, flamethrowers don't work in space because there's no oxygen to burn. Who would have thunk? Well, that was a surprise when I found that out. It's like, oh, real physics. Shit. But, yeah, Dead Space is a really good game. It's the first in the series, but it's still my favorite. It's probably one of my favorite horror games of all time, to be honest. And, kind of makes me all the more salty that EA had to ruin it, because they're EA. So, yeah, Dead Space, definitely a good game. I think, because I think this is available on, I don't know about Steam. Maybe if you wanted to stomach Origin or something. I don't know. But, yeah, I think you should get Dead Space, because Dead Space is definitely a fun and worthy series.
My number 7 is Pokemon Mystery Dungeon, Explorers of Time, Darkness, and Sky. And before you say, hey, wait, wasn't there already a Pokemon game on your list? I say, hey.
Different genre.
Is a different genre.
I mean, I already had a Paper Mario game and a Mario Kart game on my list, so I don't care.
That's fine. I mean, usually we say one to a series, and I usually throw the Coliseum and XD Pokemon games into the core, with large quotes, because they're not actually core.
But they have
Pokemon
core gameplay,
but
so
they play. Yeah, they have core gameplay.
Count, damn it.
Whereas Mystery Dungeon is a mystery dungeon. Yeah. Explorers Time, Darkness, and Sky are, the second Mystery Dungeon games to come out. The Mystery Dungeon games in general are dungeon explorer games, turn-based generally, and the Pokemon ones are, yes. The player, gets turned into a Pokemon after you complete a short quiz, where we're going to need your height, weight, social security number, and your mother's maiden name. Please and thank you. and we will select a Pokemon based off of that and your monthly income. And then you pick a partner Pokemon, that's fine. And then you become members of the Wigglytuff Guild, and then there is music that just plays on an endless loop because, you know, you don't actually leave town and do the rest of the story because the music is so fucking good. Fuck. It's probably playing right now. In fact, it is.
Better.
I mean, I'm the one who's editing this, so it is. The story ends up getting really
It's so good.
deep. And, like, I mentioned how, like, Pokemon XD and Coliseum generally have, like, a more in-depth story than the main
That's
games.
kitty shit compared to this.
Fuck that. That's bullshit. That statement was a lie to get you into a nice little corner.
False sense of
So I
security.
could give you the real truth. Yes. I'm giving you the real shit now. This shit will make you cry,
I cried.
and if it doesn't, you don't really exist as a human being.
I cried.
Yeah.
You're a robot.
Thanks.
You robot.
Beep boop.
It's just a fucking the graphics, like all the sprite work is excellent. Like I already mentioned one song in particular, but the soundtrack is just excellent across the board. The mission structure is generally really good. It has a solid post game. Most of the Mystery Dungeon games have from a decent to solid side, post game, and this one falls on the very good side of that. Overall, excellent title. Just perfect. 10 out of 10. It's number 1.
No, it's not.
Shit!
Anyway, my number 6 is yet another game that has been mentioned by someone else earlier in this video.
Is it me?
No,
Okay.
actually.
It's me.
It is Landon. It's Resident Evil 4.
I know it.
Shit.
Yeah, I love Resident Evil 4. It's a fucking great game. Very campy. I just love this game. It's so fun. It's like a perfect like balance of like creepy atmosphere, goofy camp, and fun gameplay. And it's just a really fucking fun game to just play through. Like even like after I've played through it like half a dozen times, this is a good game. I mean, you don't need me to tell you that because obviously, who doesn't love this game? But like, boy, I don't know. It's like there's so many memorable moments and fucking just shit. I don't know, man. Resident Evil 4 is good. It's a good game. I like it.
My number 6 is so what's there a suspicious lack of on my list so far?
I wasn't paying attention.
Good games.
I'm sorry.
Wow! I'm so fucking hurt. I'm dead.
Damn.
I've been eviscerated
God
right here
damn.
on our top games list.
Not only were you shot earlier in the making of this, your body is just disintegrated now.
Shit.
Holy fuck.
You are out. You are gone from this world. You are gone from this plane of fucking existence. Be gone.
Damn. All right. No, my number 6 is it's a Pokemon game. That's what's been missing from my list. It's Pokemon FireRed and LeafGreen. I had a very hard time picking which Pokemon game to put on my list. I was deciding between this, Emerald, or Platinum. Ultimately, I decided on this because it's a remake of the first games. It's legitimately my favorite Pokemon game that's come out during that decade. It's just like I can go back to this game and I can repeatedly play it over and over, and I don't understand how it doesn't get old for me. It might just be because I'm a little whore for Kanto, but it's just really non-linear, so you can tackle it in a bunch of different ways. I just really love it. I love the fact that they added the Sebai Islands, which have never showed up again. Why? It's so good. I really like just what they did with this remake. Like the colors and the graphics just really, really pop. I think it takes really good advantage of the Game Boy Advance's abilities. The sound is really good. Like sometimes remakes don't really properly capitalize on making the sound of the original the best it can be, but FireRed and LeafGreen do an excellent job, no complaints. They really, really improved the movesets and the diversity of the Pokemon that you can encounter, as opposed to what it was in Red and Blue, with the sole exception of the Cerulean Cave, which really isn't much of an issue because you get the entire Sebai Islands for the post-game. It's really, really good. Like, it holds up really well. It's a nice, meaty Pokemon experience, and yeah, it is... Go get your Bulbasaur, Charmander, Squirtle, and have a grand old time.
Number 6, I think it's a first for any list, unless I'm forgetting one. This is the first time, possibly, that I have added the Ace Combat series in Ace Combat 5, the Unsung War.
Aw, shit.
Oh, it's a different game series. Shit.
Finally, a good game.
Insert
Yeah,
Gordon
Jesus.
Ramsay meme. Delicious.
Oh.
Finally, a good fucking game.
It's been fucking 40 games we've already gone through, and now we're just getting to a good one.
Yeah.
Anyway, so this combat is obviously a jet game, so it's not like your standard shooter or anything like that. It's strictly in the air. If you're not good with flight controls, you're not going to be good at this game because you kind of need to know how to fly. So I like 5 specifically because it's like, I don't know, it's like it feels like the most personalized because technically you're always the main character. Like 4, you were Mobius, but like in this one, you're part of a squad, and this is like one of the only ones that you can technically quote unquote talk. So that your teammates will ask you something and you can like respond to them in like a basic yes or no statement, which is kind of dumb when I really think about it, but still. And it's kind of like, I don't know if you'd really call it underdog story or anything like that, because you are apparently like, well, actually no, because one of your squad mates is kind of like extremely green, and he's kind of like dopey as fuck. He's also voiced by John Bosch, so there's that. You kind of start off as just a bunch of like, I guess nobodies, and then shit happens, and then you become like really badass all of a sudden, and then something really sad happens, and then everybody's upset, and then you start murdering the enemy, and then I don't know. Well, basically what I'm saying is it's just a series of like air combat kind of missions that honestly the Ace Combat series is a really good story, and it's told over like, as of now, like, well, actually there's technically more, but numbered games, 7 different games. And every single one has its own story, and the Ace Combat series kind of is more like, it takes more fantastical elements of military because there's some crazy fucking weapons in this series. Like Stonehenge, which is a series of gigantic fucking anti-aircraft cannons that basically make a sonic boom every time they fire. They're like giant railguns. It's like, what the fuck? And it's like, and there's like, in 5 specifically, there's something called the Arcbird, which is literally a giant fucking ship that flies in space and shoots giant death lasers. It's like, what the fuck? But yeah, I like Ace Combat because I just like flying, despite the fact that I'm afraid of heights. And I just like the more fantastical elements of military. It's not like strictly like Call of Duty or anything like that. They take some liberties with it, and I enjoy that. So yeah, maybe one day I'll play Unsung War. I don't know, but hopefully I get to that whenever that is.
My number 6 is a game that was actually mentioned earlier in this list by someone.
Was it me?
Was
No.
it me?
Yeah, I didn't think so.
Oh,
No,
it was
it was
Justin.
Justin. It is Valkyria Chronicles for the PlayStation 3rd.
Third.
No. The
PlayStation the
playing state's the third.
Oh yeah,
States the third.
I remember that.
Forgot
Yeah.
about that.
Valkyria Chronicles 1 is fucking great. Go play it. Do I have to say more? Alright, fine, I'll say more.
You can.
Graphics, good. Like, it's a very early PlayStation 3 game. It holds up today, even like just the PlayStation 3 version. It's been released on other things, but you could pop it into a PS3 right now, and it fucking looks gorgeous. Like the book effects that they have for it just make it look super good. The combat is fun. It's a ton of fun to try and very much break the levels to where you can get the most optimum outcome for every single unit you move. It's got a very good, very well written story. It's definitely that underdog. I know Justin has talked about this game in several of the lists we've talked about. Specifically the RPG list we had a couple months ago. Go check that out. I chose 4 in that, but number 1 is just fantastic. Soundtrack is excellent. Just excellent game all around. I cannot and will not recommend this game enough. And that's why it is number 6 on this list. Anyway, that's all the time we have for this segment.
Join us next time.
Check out part 3. Yeah, join us next time for part 3, where we go through 5 through 1.
Hell yeah.
Guess we'll never bet. I bet you will never guess what my number 1 is.